John, do you watch the podcast? Do you listen to him, or do you just not even?
I have it on YouTube, but I usually don't watch it. Like I do it on YouTube, but
you listen to it?
Yeah.
Or you close the screen?
Sometimes I'll put it on the TV and just let it play, but I don't really watch.
Does that mean your mom hears these?
Usually I listen to them on Spotify, but I like watching them a lot of times. But I always forget.
How's that Red Bull taste?
Probably about as good as my Nasi drink.
No, there's no possible way. Oh, yeah, it tastes better. Let's put it that way. Well, to recap something, we are almost home from a 3-day trip. Had a great time. Had lots of fun. Had lots of entertainment, laughs, yellow arguments, podcasts, tears, joy, laughter. But I did get a new job, and maybe I'll talk about that in a different episode or whatever. But supposedly they lost. They said there's a hiccup in my drug test. It just went missing and didn't come. Dude, where is this joker at? Hiccup in my drug test and need me to do another one. It's like, yeah, right. Which I was actually pre-warned that could very easily happen, and it happens all the time to people. But anyway, so ran in there again on our way home. Thankfully, these guys are gracious guests to let me partake in a very serious issue that needed attention, and so I ran in. And by the way, I literally just took a... Now that I know your mom might be hearing this, I want to say, I want to talk so crude, but I took a leak about a gallon of liquids.
Toxic waste.
Literally 10 minutes before I found out that I had to go do this again, I drained.
Not a droplet of water.
No. There hadn't been no water drank
What
since
have you,
yesterday.
what have you consumed?
Coffee and Red Bull and soda.
Okay.
Let's start this.
I had half a Dutch Bros. So by the way, we got up at 3 o'clock this morning. Left at 3:17, 18, something like that. But I put a Dutch Bros from the night before in the fridge, like a half of one, because I wanted to have something to sip on this morning at 3 in the morning. So I drank half a Dutch Bros today. Then I drank a pear cinnamon Red Bull about 2 hours after that. Then about an hour after that, I got another Dutch Bros full medium. Then a couple hours after that, we ate lunch, breakfast / I had a root beer.
Large root beer.
No, a 12-ounce
It
can.
was just a can right here.
Oh, okay.
And then this sounds so bad, dude. This is horrible.
It is.
Then John was having to slap my hand out of the ice chest because I kept reaching back for another Red Bull. I said, no, absolutely not. No more Red Bulls. No more energy drinks.
How long did that last?
That lasted, well,
about 45 minutes.
In my mind, it was going on for 2 hours. I had openly admitted it about the last 45 minutes. And I told John, don't let me. He said, okay, I'll slap your hand every time you reach in that. That lasted about 45 minutes. A couple slaps in the hand. Finally, I couldn't take anymore. John gave in.
Got past the slap.
Got past the slap. Drink. Man, that sounds terrible. I'm actually embarrassed to admit this. Now that I count through, that's 5 drinks. Then...
Drank another. You didn't say what it was. Another Red Bull.
Pear cinnamon Red Bull. Those are amazing, by the way. Then we're going, and I find out I got to do another drug test, and the quicker I do it, the better off sooner I can start and all this kind of stuff. So the guy schedules me to do one like out of town on my way home from this trip. I panicked because I literally took a leak, like the kind where I don't need to go again until
like
I get
10
home.
minutes before that.
Yeah. I go, sorry, Harrison, and I reached in there and grabbed a NOS.
Which I had bought right after we left my house.
Yeah, like 3 days ago. And because I know those things, it was kind of destiny, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, it was, because I honestly had been putting off drinking it the whole trip because I know what it does.
Yes, because then we know you have to go pee in like 20 minutes. Dude, I chugged that thing. I've never drank a NOS so fast, and there's a reason why, because you instantly have to go to the bathroom. There's tons of B12, tons of caffeine, obviously. Chugged that thing almost 3/4 of it. It was like 30-minute drive to the medical center to do the drug test. I was worried I wasn't going to have to go. Man, by the time, dude, you don't know how bad I was bouncing around in that waiting room to go, dude.
You were texting me.
Dying. Like, I thought I was going to bust. Anyways, she's all, will you be able to go? I go, yes, trust me. Give me the cup right now.
Give me a 5-gallon bucket.
Dude, I wasn't even in the slightest worried that I was going to fill that cup up. In fact, I probably went that far above the line just to make sure.
Had to stop
I
it.
handed it to her and I'm like, yeah. So anyways,
Looked
that
like toxic waste
Yeah.
ate through the bottom of the
Solid
cup.
orange.
dude, I have no
yellow,
idea how that
green.
looked normal. No idea. It looked totally normal. In fact, it was
Can't
very
believe we're
light.
talking about this on the podcast.
I know. Well, sorry. Yeah. Whatever.
Everybody on
worse
here
things.
pees. They know it.
Yeah. So, that being said, now let's go back to day one or leaving, I guess. Sitting on cricket. We left really late compared to what we normally do. I mean, there's times we've drove all night to go on a trip, but we left. Well, we talked about that. We did an episode about that. So day one of hunting, we decided to sleep in because we got to the Airbnb like 1 o'clock. And what time did we get up?
I think like
7:30. We got up.
Okay, dude, that's so. It doesn't. You notice it don't start doing that until we start recording. It's bad.
Yeah.
Always something with the frequency up there.
It might be. Well, we slept in because we didn't know where to go. We could unplug it, I guess. But we wanted to do some scouting, so we're like, well, let's go in the morning where we can see. We'll get some breakfast. We'll get a little bit of sleep so we're not starting out on such a bad foot and being literally zombies, which you usually are anyways on an out-of-state trip. It really doesn't matter, but do you feel safe doing that? Because it don't bother me if it's in the background by you unplugging that. Seriously. Keep yourself safe from getting a ticket.
I got a speeding ticket.
Yeah, keep it plugged in. That's fine.
I don't know, not even a year ago, so I really need to knock
You have a Class A?
No, but I have commercial insurance and commercial registration on all my vehicles.
That's insane how bad that's going off. Anyways, we were rolling through on the boat, kind of looking around, scouting, whatever, looking for a spot to go, and we saw, how many birds do you guys think it was? I mean, I have a number in my head.
Oh,
That good group
that
we jumped
afternoon?
up. Yeah.
There wasn't an insane amount, but there was like the most birds we had seen for sure. And there
I
was
don't know.
quite a few.
I'd say about 100,
That's exactly
That's
what I
was
was saying.
thinking too.
I was
About
thinking
100.
and it was all big ducks. It was all mallards and sprigs.
That's a good group for 3 guys. Like, okay.
Well,
Good.
to see them, we know we saw some. We blew a bunch, not a bunch, but different bunches of birds out going in there, running up there. And then we saw a couple ducks flying. We heard a couple shots. And then to jump that many out of one spot, not like a whole area, like
Right.
out of one spot, we're like, okay, there it is.
There's
And it was
some
right for the
pairs
wind. It was
and
perfect
10
for the
packs,
wind.
but-
Yeah.
The
Oh,
wind,
it was perfect
It was
for the winds.
like a borderline peninsula with the wind was blowing over the back of it so they could really get up on the back side of it.
Yeah. So we were like, yeah, it looks like it's spot. There was cover, all this stuff rolling there. We're kind of moving pretty fast on this situation too, because we both know how is when you roll into a spot like that, birds are going to try to come back in there usually. Sometimes that don't happen. What's going on?
The stupid car's running up on me, going a million miles an hour.
Wait, let's ask John one question. Who is more jerky in driving?
So far, it's Harrison, but he did make a good point. He was in traffic the first part. So
There's no traffic.
I feel like we're
there.
both good drivers. I was just giving you a hard time, but
No, you said I was making you sick.
well, I'm not even going to get into this. You can't deny the fact that you're always trying to do 12 things at once. So it's not that you're a bad driver. You're always like, ooh, because you're looking at your phone, looking at the podcast, trying to
I love
your sound effects for me.
It's pouring rain.
What was the other sound effect the other day?
Well, sounds about right. Anyway,
Titus, you're going to get a text from Mom because Harrison just threw you under the bus.
Huh?
Said you're going to get a text from Mom because Harrison just threw you under the bus.
sorry, dude.
What do you mean?
On
About
your
how
phone.
you drive. On your phone,
Oh, yeah, right.
podcasting, on your phone, talking to someone, pouring rain, sketchy, dark, driving with your knee, eating a hamburger, holding your phone with your shoulder, and taking a sip of a soda.
You're so
John,
full of
please
it.
back me up here. Tell me I'm wrong. Are you kidding
two
me?
guys are
You
insane.
know it's true.
Oh, man.
Dude, I need some
Lord.
barbecue sauce. I can't eat this without open me a barbecue sauce. You know it's true.
Dude, you make it sound so much worse.
It's pretty
insane.
bad, dude. It's pretty bad.
It's bad. Do you know how many miles I have under my belt hundreds of thousands of miles. That's called
back to the point.
There was no point. This is
No,
part
back
of the
to what we were talking
entertainment.
about. Back to what we were talking about.
I'm not done.
Day
with it.
one, we roll up on the birds.
Yeah. Anyways, we're
Flushed
hustling
about
out.
100 of them.
We're hustling out. We throw stuff out. We know most of the time birds will kind of come back, and sure enough, they did. As we're setting up, half not paying it. Like,
There's ducks coming in as the boat's sitting there.
and what do we always do? I'm not as bad as some people because I know what's happening, but you can't help yourself. What do?
You rush? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know.
No. You stop and watch them coming in instead of setting up and getting your gun loaded.
No, you're right. You're like, oh, look at that one.
When I was coming back over to parking the boat, you guys were still looking up like this.
Yeah, we were still standing.
But you shot one, didn't you, when I was walking back?
Yeah, like literally as soon as you left. Like the boat,
weren't
you could
even-
still hear the boat.
Yeah.
And a pair of mallards comes in. Harrison didn't even have his gun loaded.
No, I was trying to get my calls on, opening my
I just
bag.
have my gun loaded. And he's like, shoot those birds right there. I pull up and there's a hen just floating.
There's a pair of mallards in the deeks.
I couldn't see. Right off the bat, I didn't know which was a drake or hen. I pull up on the closest
The
one.
sun's in our... Oh, no, it wasn't in our face right there.
No, it wasn't.
No,
You
but
don't know.
It was, no offense, John. It was clear as day, brother.
I know, but I just pull up on the close one, right? It was
You
like a
did,
snapshot.
yeah.
I pull up on
Yeah.
the close one. He goes, top drake. I pull up. I still have my buckle on for my waders. I always take that off. I didn't think we'd have mallards in the decoys the first 3 seconds
Yeah.
I was there. So I shoot with the buckle on. I got my puffy coat on. I had to switch birds. Anyway, I end up not leading it enough. I shoot it in the hind end. It goes straight down. As soon as it hits the water, I'm getting ready to shoot another shot, finish it off, and as soon as it hits the water, it just dives and never comes up. One time.
Oh, it was a hen that did that?
No, it was a
No,
drake.
I shot the drake.
He hit the
Oh,
drake
man.
because he had to switch birds real quick. He made a bad
Oh.
shot on it.
Yeah.
And it dove. And we stood out there and walked out there as far as we could and stood there and looked and looked. Never saw it. Meanwhile, we're
You
out
see a
there.
puffy go.
I'm looking, and he's like, dude, your puffy's floating down the river. Because I was wearing my vest, and my puffy jacket was in my bag. And I'm like, no, it's not. That's what I was doing when you shot, or when they came in, as I was putting my puffy in my bag. I'm like, it's in my bag. I'm like, that's Titus's. And you were literally walking up. You had just walked like 400 yards from the boat. And I'm like, hey, your puffy's right there floating down the river. You're like, walked back to the boat. You went and got it.
I said, no, it's not. It's mine. Yours or
Yeah, and I'm
something.
like, well, mine's right there. Like, you can see it.
Yeah.
But then you went and got your jacket and tried looking for that duck.
Which flares more birds.
But you were down. Yeah, there were more coming in at Flaherty, but you were down. You were downwind, probably about
man.
200 yards from us. What?
Thinking back on that, if we would have thrown a dozen out and left, we could have killed at least 7, 8 more birds if we would have known, like, how fast we could have hustled more than we already did. We didn't hustle that much.
Well, think too. As soon as we got there, we parked the boat, and before we even got anything out, we walked up on the bank. I was kind of looking at the back ponds, and we're watching
Yeah.
mallards and pintails just come in. We're like, oh, look at these,
Absolutely
look at these, pointing and looking
Yeah.
for 5 minutes before we even started setting up.
Yeah.
But you went to go get your puffy, and you ran down this cut, downwind.
Picked it up.
Couple
Oh,
hundred
and then I
yards.
picked up you
And
guys'
he's
bird
sitting
up.
down there. No, you didn't pick. Oh, yeah, but as you're going down there, you grabbed your jacket, literally motor running, 200 yards downwind. There's a pair. Hit the call. Psh, they're coming. And was it? I don't remember who shot. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, another group or pair
No.
comes in. Bang, we smoke a drake.
No, that was the group of like 8, dude. flying
Oh, you're
over you,
right.
remember?
They came over our back. That's what it was. And we stood up right to shoot. And right as we were doing that, they saw and heard the boat because you were like right there. And they flared anyway. I ended up getting one drake, killed that one. And you're coming back, and I can imagine what you're thinking. You're out here messing around with the boat. There's a drake mallard floating dead.
No, I mean, it worked good because it would have been too far for Rocky anyways, so it kind of didn't really matter.
Yeah.
My jacket was full of water. I came back to the bank and threw you my jacket. I said, can you hang this up? Because I knew I was going to need it later
Yeah.
because the ride out was going to be freezing.
Oh, yeah.
It was my
that's true.
puffy, yeah. So it actually insanely, because it was blowing, what, 20 plus, 25, 30, 20, gusting 30, somewhere in there?
Yeah, something
It
like
was ripping.
Yeah, it was ripping. There was white caps in the bay we were in, besides a little
that.
pocket.
And we're on the back side of a point.
Yeah. I was getting soaked driving out there
Oh, yeah.
when that tide, or the angle of the wind and how it was blowing up on me. But, yeah, you guys had basically 2 birds, right? Oh no, that
Oh, I
because we never.
lost-
Yeah,
I lost
you lost
someone.
one. Yeah, that's a bummer. Can never. Oh, it never came up. Huh?
It never
whatever-
came up.
Never
yeah.
came up. Never
As soon
saw
as it splashed, it almost like dove as it was going.
And it's also really
the
hard
air.
when that happens because you know how the ducks will barely have the tip of their beak sticking up,
Yeah.
and you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
hardly see but a quarter inch sticking out,
Mhm.
and it was real choppy.
with the white caps
Yeah.
or whatever, you
So
might not
it's-
have been able to see that.
Right.
He might have just
Exactly. He was probably just cruising, swimming.
I hope you guys are enjoying this too because we do have clips from each day, but not the whole backstory. Obviously, even if you make a whole video, you can never have the full backstory. But hopefully, I kind of like having it for the people that are loyal to listening to the podcast because it gives you guys. You can like play this through in your mind as you're watching the short clips that we actually have. John, I think it was right after that when I grabbed my gun. Right? Was that when I shot the Drake Mallard? Right after that? After I got back?
No, because I think I shot that widgeon next. Remember, there was a group of widgeon. And there was that one pintail that I couldn't see. Remember?
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I pulled up and shot the Drake widgeon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I grabbed the camera, and then you stepped in and you shot that
we're
mallard,
standing there.
right in the face.
Point blank, yeah.
Yeah. He kind of backdoored us a little bit.
You were actually coming back from the decoys from something. I think you were moving decoys or something.
Oh, that's what it was. I was standing. I threw.
No,
because the
I
sun.
moved the spinner thing.
No, I was
no,
out there. You were in the
Harrison
blind.
was in
The decoys that
Oh,
were
yeah,
right up
you
against
were.
the bank were
Yep.
really in the shade, and they were coming over our back, and I was like, they can't see them. So I threw them out,
A couple more out farther.
like,
yeah.
6 or whatever, farther out, so, those ducks coming over the back could see them better. And then, because we were also trafficking pintails and, whatever. Anyway, so I did that, and as I'm almost to the bank, I look up over the tree that we're sitting in, and there's a Drake Mallard just hooked up. He made one turn over the point, couple quacks, and he was coming. I'm like, dude, get your gun. He's coming. And you're like, and you couldn't hardly see because he was literally at the tip of the tree, like 10 yards.
I was looking through the branches. I could just see him coming. He's like,
Yeah, I could too.
And
he's maybe 15 yards in the air.
I'm kneeling
Maybe.
at the bank, like in the decoys, looking up, and he was right over my head. Like I had the perfect view, like if I was looking from the water line, and he just you stood up, just poof.
You almost blew its head off.
About
You'll
blew it
see-
in half.
See it in the
right
video
in the
that's
neck.
on there.
Yeah,
but
right in the neck. Like literally.
Like you couldn't put it on a strap because it would rip the neck and head
it was
off.
a string holding his head on.
I think I got that shot pretty good.
Oh,
too.
you got
I
it
don't
really
know
good.
how good
That
you
will
can
be in the
actually
video.
see
You
it.
guys will see that. We got some cool stuff. We really did. I mean, wasn't like there wasn't much to get from the first or second day, but the third day could have been a crazy. If I would have put that GoPro on when I got in the water, there would have been so much drama. I would have left all that in there too.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. All this fighting, everything about that. I wish I would have. Oh well.
Good content.
Yeah. Anyways, we ended up with 6 that day. So what was our birds after the first day? 2. Let's see how many mallards.
Oh,
4 mallards.
we killed 2 widgeon, 2 pintail, and 2 mallards. And
I had a widgeon and a
pintail
pintail.
was a hen.
Yeah.
I had a widgeon and a pintail. You had
One mallard.
one mallard.
John had 3 birds.
I only
He
had 2.
had no. You had
You
that,
killed 3
You
that
had
day.
that Drake and the hen mallard. Remember?
Me?
No.
Oh,
John.
Mm-mm.
I
and
thought
the
we had
widge.
6 birds the first
I
day.
didn't even kill. I killed a widgeon and a Drake pintail that day. Titus killed a Drake mallard, and you killed a Drake mallard, Drake widgeon, hen pintail. Right?
Oh, I forgot about that
Yeah.
other Drake mallard. That's what it was.
Because I hadn't killed a mallard until yesterday.
Yeah. That's right. You said that to me yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, then we get done with that day. Part of me wanted to, when we were driving home, correct me if I'm wrong, Harrison, but part of me wanted to go down south.
No,
where
we did.
were.
We were contemplating that. We
But
got
you
back
were
in the
saying
truck.
we need to know in
This
the morning.
was kind of a different area that we hadn't hunted too much. We didn't have a lot of history in. So we were.
You had 0. I only
I
had
had
one
none.
trip.
Right, and it was very minimal. And the water
No.
wasn't how it was.
Oh, minimal.
You-
I mean, 3
yeah.
days.
But I mean, as far as.
Yeah, they're breaking, dude,
I know.
hard.
It's this guy right here that's really bad. The red car's way up there. As far as, like, you were half a mile from where we were because you couldn't even get up there.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, whatever. We wanted to see what it looked like in the morning, try to get some more, I guess, history on this stuff,
Well, yeah, because I'm not going to try to even say that I didn't want to try it again in the morning. But part of me, like, I did say, like, I kind of want to go south. then you're like, you kind of brought, brought a good argument up and said, dude, we got to kind of know in the morning. I'm like, yeah, we do, because they did it pretty good.
You brought it up.
But I said, there's no wind in the morning, though. That's the only problem.
You brought it up, and you said, let's go hit our old stomping grounds that we know really well.
Yeah.
But there was also some conditions. Like, it blew so hard that first day, all day, for like actually probably 24 hours straight, that the area we wanted to go to south, we thought also that we thought it was going to be a little more beat up. Like, the ducks were going to be pretty beat up because it's a lot of bigger water, and it was blowing 30-plus miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, maybe this other area, a little tighter, birds going to be in there, whatever. We wanted to check it out in the morning, so we made that decision.
Yeah. Which we probably would have, if we had it to do again without even knowing what we know now, we would have probably did the same thing. But we both knew, right, first thing, there were some guys that told us, 10 to 12, it got turned on, so we're like, okay, let's go there and stay till 11, and then we'll leave there and go scout the evening. Man, it was bad. It was nothing flying. Like, zero.
How many did we even kill? Like, I think
one.
No, I killed more than that. I killed one, and Harrison killed two.
No,
dude. It was one bird.
You killed the hen mallard. I killed a hen pintail. And you killed a... Remember you killed another hen?
Oh, yeah, because that mallard was floating around, and I missed. And then my second shot jammed on my 20 gauge.
And we had that Drake mallard that... Yeah. I couldn't even tell you who hit it. Probably Harrison.
Well, that's the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah. So we killed the hen mallard. He killed that hen mallard. Remember, that was alive
and a Drake
on the water.
mallard.
So there was three birds. Three birds
total.
Yeah. Okay. That is not something you're expecting on an out-of-state trip, trust me. Well, then we ran out of time to hunt in the evening to try and make up for it, which I'm never impressed by a lot of evening hunts unless there's wind, which there wasn't.
No, it's usually midday.
So we decided to scout and just say, you know what, we got to put the effort in because it's going to be our last day.
We need to find something solid for Tuesday morning, or else
we're really going to be host.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we found a lot of birds, a ton of widgeon, and actually a ton of mallards, and we got where we wanted pretty much, and it paid off.
Yeah, I was actually expecting more mallard action.
Yeah.
But you know what? There was no wind.
There was a little bit in the morning. But
yeah. And then it died.
And so did the bird flight.
And there was no sunshine.
And there was no, that's what I was getting at. And it got cloudy. In the morning, it was a little more clear. And then the little cloud cover rolled in. And then the wind cut off, and it wasn't primed for mallards. If it was windy and sunny, I'd be willing to bet we would have put a dent in them.
I'll tell you the only, I feel like, mistake I made in that 3 days, because I feel like we would do the same thing again if we had to, but I did make one mistake. I'll just say I did, because I'll just take that, is when we scouted the first morning, we slept in, ate breakfast, and said we're going to scout.
We went the wrong area.
No, that was good. I wanted to check that spot. What we didn't do is check the main area.
Right.
Where we hunted on the third day.
Right. We had no idea. If we would have seen what we saw.
And I'll tell you why. I take the blame for that. Because after I checked that one area, I was getting antsy. And I wanted to get up there and start hunting.
Remember where we were at? We were literally like, we have to go like 45 minutes the opposite direction to where we wanted to hunt that evening to go look at this other spot. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was like it's going to take an extra 45 minutes down there and back up.
Yeah.
Plus we
got to drive back, then a 30-minute boat ride.
Yeah. Right. It was like, basically what we said is we got to hurry up or we're not going to have an afternoon hunt. Yeah. So we didn't take the time to drive over there and check out. But I think
that's where we should have probably got up earlier.
Yeah, we should have.
We should have looked at that place. Because, dude, if we would have seen what we seen.
We wouldn't have gone up north.
I think we still would have went for the afternoon. I really do. But we wouldn't have came back in the morning. I guarantee we wouldn't have.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I just got antsy. Yeah, I got antsy, so. But, yeah, I mean, all in all, really, there wasn't too many mistakes made, to be honest with you. Like, sometimes I go and I'm like, we did this wrong. Hindsight's 2020. So I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about your thought process. Like, I'll tell you where that was a negative by not going to look in another spot. I'll tell you where we made a great call. And that was not even wasting 5 minutes moving on the last day when we seen birds kept trying to work that spot.
Yeah.
Because how many times have you said, we need to move, we need to move, we need to move. 2 hours later, you still haven't moved. Then when you move, it's too late.
Yeah.
That was solid.
You got to move like the first 3 groups you see go
Yeah.
somewhere.
And boy, that was the right call because we barely got our 3rd bird for a limit, but we did it, and I was proud of us, honestly. We could have got a hair sooner.
Had some issues.
1 click.
That, and then
I had a miss or 2 or some shell stuff.
Shell, gun issue, whatever. Yeah.
And then we lost that last bird.
That was weird. That bird was stone.
I thought he was
dead. I guess, but
apparently he wasn't. But.
I mean, I thought he was maybe death spinning, but I didn't think he was like swim
Even
worthy.
if he was still alive, I didn't think he was like escape.
No.
Life or death mode. Like I thought he was
started
pretty much
floating
done.
because he did that death flop where he's spinning a circle and he quit moving.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, we'll just leave him because the area we were hunting, there was a close zone close by. Every time we shot, it seemed like 3, 4, 5 more ducks
would come.
Would start working the area. So we're like, well, if we shoot one and it's dead, let's just leave it.
Because they would have been landing on our decoys if we weren't out. Because they would come
every single time.
They would come to 25 yards when we were in the decoys.
There was more. Yeah, there was even. Oh, when we were standing out there.
Yeah, like when we were going out to get a bird. There's more.
Imagine
when we weren't out there.
Imagine if we wouldn't have picked up every duck. If we could have just shot them and like let them sit there.
Yeah,
we would have been done twice as fast.
Really, we truly would have.
They were really just trying to dump in.
And dude, we can't fault ourselves too much for that because we weren't even there that long when all that was going down. Like 30 minutes later, we're like, oh, you know what? Maybe we should leave these birds in the water because every time we shoot,
to even be making
dude, it
decisions
was boom. Before I knew it, I go, guys, we have 17 birds. It was that quick. It was insane. And after I said that it was 17, it was 20 minutes later we were done.
Yeah.
Because I have the Marcos on the timestamps.
We were hunting a spot that wasn't just open water. There was a lot of wood. So it was easier to lose birds.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, in my opinion, unethical to just like leave 5 or 6 ducks floating out there.
And as far as that goes, like Rocky wouldn't have been able to look for him in that driftwood because that had cut up his paws.
Yeah. That's why I didn't let him get a ton. I think he only got like 4 or 5 birds on that when they were farther out there.
Yeah, it just tears them up.
Because, his pads have got jacked out there before. Not his pads, his what do you call it? His webbing. Yeah. He's cut them really bad. So I was like, man, I don't want to tear it. Because I could feel it rough under my boots. I was like, dude, this.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I was worried it might have messed my wader boots up or something, you know? Like some seriously bad snack stuff. So
you made a great retrieve on that mallard, though, in those trees.
Oh, I forgot about that. I was really, really, really proud of Rocky on the second day. Because morning,
that one too.
We had really decently how thick I know it was skim ice, but you think that was 3/16? Maybe
3/16 a quarter in some areas, but out in the middle it was probably 1/8 inch ice.
Yeah,
but good enough to where when we were running, the boat's going.
Yeah,
you're running through the ice.
Yeah,
it wasn't just slush; it was ice.
Well, Rocky, the first time he ever faced ice, I think he was only 2, maybe 3. I think he was 2 though. I'm pretty sure it was his second year. And I was in Kansas, and me and Elliot were together, and I think Jordan, and he shot, one of us shot a bird, it dropped, and it was pretty thick ice. I wouldn't say much thicker than it was there, but it was definitely thicker. And he went out, and as soon as he hit that stuff, which, mind you, that cut into you. I mean, it's hitting him in the chest, right, in the legs.
California dog that never touched ice in his life.
Mild weather.
2 years old.
Yeah. And he said, He literally, I could not force him to go back out. He turned around and came back and got in the dock stand and would not go back out there. I was pretty mad, but at the same time, I kind of understood. Well, now fast forward 4 years or whatever, he's 6. He went out after that bird, which was water just to where he was going, and then he hit it. And I'm like, dude, I go, guys, I'm stoked. I'm proud of him. He's doing it or whatever. Well, he got about a couple feet into that and turned around. I'm like, no. And I said, fetch it up or back or something. I can't remember what I said. He turned around and busted through what you think probably 15 feet of that. Probably. 10, 15 feet of that stuff to get to that bird. I think what helped dude is he could see it too and he knew it was close.
Yeah.
And it kind of
he could see it really well because it was on top of the ice.
But he was putting his paws on top and busting and then like going to that. I was so happy. I was like, I gave him a ton of praise for that one because I was really happy with him and proud of him for that. So that was cool. I haven't been that happy, like, the proud dad moment because he's 6 years old now. I mean, there's not a lot. Every
Hasn't done, yeah.
every
Not a lot
time he pulls one out of the
surprises you
toolies,
anymore.
I'm always stoked out of my mind. But like that one was like, wow. I know a lot of dogs do that naturally and no problem, but
It's a California dog. He doesn't
for
do it.
him to kind of conquer that little bit of a, and his drive is not as high as like a lot of other dogs. So I was pretty stoked with that. So, anyways, I know it's not impressive for some people, but anywho, anything else about that trip other than the fact we're driving home the day for Thanksgiving and dealing with tons of traffic and back to the high diesel prices.
No kidding. Look at this guy's wheel. Oh, did you see that? It just stopped.
And
Yep.
I mean, dental floss.
That old California.
Yeah, gotta love it.
California.
Heading back to the one bird days in the grasslands for next 3 weeks, probably.
Yeah.
I hope not. Shouldn't be.
You never know. This season actually has been kind of weird, really. I mean, I was telling John, you weren't around, Harrison, but like I was telling him, we got spoiled a little bit last year because even early in November last year was really good. I had some amazing days in November.
I just had, I was going to say something about that. I just had a memory come up yesterday. Dude, me and Ellie had like 5 mallards, 2 sprig, 2 Drake wood ducks, a couple Drake widgeon. Like we had a solid big duck limit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, right now it's tough to kill a few teal out there.
Yeah. But we know it's frozen up and pretty much frozen Alberta right now. So
And it's good.
I think it's just a matter of time. It'll be any time now.
Yeah.
I would say for sure the first week of December, I think.
I think in the next 10 days we're going to see a
Exactly.
significant jump.
Which guess what that will be? Pretty much the first week of December.
Okay.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Anything else to add, John?
Nope. It was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Good time.
trip.
John and I had never actually met before this trip, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good meeting you.
You guys hit up so good that you even recorded a podcast.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Well, I mean, he did save my life the first half hour we knew each other.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
right.
what was the story behind that?
We already said
We already
that.
talked
Oh, you
about
did?
that.
Awesome.
We talked about it, remember?
Yeah. Bottom line, I almost got decapitated by the back of Titus's window. So
Oh, dude.
I was speechless.
Oh, yeah, I guess we talked about that
Yeah,
in
we
another
did.
episode, too,
Yeah.
beforehand. That was funny. You have any bruising from that in your rib cage?
No, but I think I hit my head pretty good on the
He
way
did
out.
hit his. That's what
Did
looked
you?
like it hurt.
I
He
thought you
barely
said
got
you
his.
didn't feel.
He barely got his shoulder
I
blade
didn't.
out like
My
cook,
adrenaline.
till later.
and then his head on the way out. I was like,
I didn't even no. Even later, it didn't hurt, but my adrenaline was going so fast. I knew I hit my head, and I knew I hit it hard. Like I
Pure
could feel,
fear,
but it did not hurt.
dude. That's so crazy.
My whole shoulder and arm and neck was outside the window, and it was closing in. It was already touching
And it was
my arm.
raining outside.
pouring rain. He
pouring.
actually got wet. His whole arms were wet.
John, get this. John, do this. John, do that. I should have known when you were sitting up in here in the driver's seat that something, or passenger seat, something fishy was going on when I walked up
Yeah.
after
Oh,
the drug
yeah.
test. Anyways. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you got some entertainment out of this. We'll keep the podcast rolling, and hopefully everybody out there is doing good this season so far, and hopefully things pick up a little better, and kind of curious to see how the season goes with El Nino. We'll see you guys in the next one.